Jimmy Olsen, issue 2, Matt Fraction writing with Steve Lieber on the art. And I feel like this will be 10-15 minutes of Matt and Connor gushing, whilst I quietly just enjoy it, but don't.
But you did enjoy it.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, much like the first issue, it's split into a lot of little portions. You know, there's all these different little title pages for different things. And obviously the flashback story set back in the olden days with Joachim Olsen.
Joachim, yeah.
He like, this is obviously a plot that we're going to have running through this story because it's just kind of building on part and part. He's walked in with a chunk of gold.
Well, that's it, because obviously at last issue he was kind of just the old crazy dude up on the hill. You know, he'd been there for a long. His family had been there, but they weren't influential. Whereas we're constantly being told that, you know, the Luthers and the Olsens, they're the two founding pillars of Metropolis. So he must have, you know, struck big at some point.
Oh yeah.
Right.
We see Jimmy arguing with his brother about the statue, the Olsen statue that he destroyed. Is it weird to me that all of a sudden there's all this mythology that there's an Olsen statue in Metropolis?
Well, no, it was the Luther statue, but because of his brother, I'm just blanking on his name.
Julian
wants to preserve history of Metropolis because this is the gentrification argument of Luther. He doesn't care what he gets rid of. Like, all the character of Metropolis, it doesn't matter, because he's going to put in, you know, new real estate, and it's going to cost this much, and it's going to bring in certain people. Whereas Julian Olsen's like, well, no, we can't lose our history. Even if it is a stupid, you know, monument to Luther himself, it's history and deserves to be preserved. And Jimmy, with, you know, despite his best intentions, is now part of, you know, Luther being able to get rid of that without a second look. So I like that. I like that dichotomy.
It's true.
Do you know, I remember him destroying a statue, and because of the way they were speaking, I thought it was an Olsen statue.
No, that's not lying. The part of this issue I really liked, besides the, you know, talking head portions, where I feel like Fraction and Lieber really have like that TV show dynamic down. Of you know, Luther talking and Olsen talking, and, you know, but the conversation with Superman.
Oh, what a shock. Matt liked to see Superman in it.
Well, just because it showed like Superman's not afraid to get silly with his best friend. Like, he didn't know how much of this Jimmy's going to use, but he's going to go full in and put on the wig and, you know,
yes,
this is the bit that gets the actual topic, because, like I say, you know, all throughout it is like the lead into a title page with the box of text, and then it swerves. And I don't know about you people, I've read every single one of them, and they're all delightful.
They can see here for this scene is that Jimmy's doing an interview, a piece where it's the secret powers of Superman, and it's basically Superman doing a bunch of crappy like magic tricks that aren't actually Superman powers. He's
doing close-up magic.
But this is a joke. The joke is that these aren't really his powers. He's just doing these goofy little things. I read most of the title page things. I got a little tired of it at one point.
I read all of them. Like, they were quite
I love them.
Like, even the actual title page, DC Comics cautiously presents Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen.
So the old X wants to build his monorail thingamajig, however it is, around the city, which is part of his development plans. I will say, if I've got a disappointment, it's that there wasn't enough stuff in Gotham itself. Basically, we finally get to him in his Gotham shitty motel apartment at the very end, and he calls in someone for help, and then we see in the last page, it looks like it's Lois. It looks like Lois is like jumping from Metropolis to go help Jimmy.
Because Jimmy's supposed to be dead, right? Like, this is he's deep undercover, and now Lois. And what I love is that they keep her lack of spelling. Like, this is de facto now. Like, from the editors group.
The post-it notes, the spellings of bludgeon, collusion, and asylum. And you're like, what stories is she writing?
But no, that Perry, those are some of the words that she misspelled from her own series, the Rucka stuff. Yeah, that Perry killer. Like, there's no ass in asylum, or there is. I forget what it is. You have an extra S.
Yeah, collision was one, but the collision mistake was different, I think, in the regular, because it was a U at the end of the word rather than...
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
But I just remember Asylum and Collusion were there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had fun with the book. I do feel like the main thing I was looking forward to though was like getting more of the plot with him now in Gotham, looking into his murder. Like, it was relegated to like 2 pages at the end. I was like, oh, could I use more advancement on this?
Well, I also love here too that we see him and Luthor. Like, I feel like they're setting up Jimmy and Luthor as much as Superman and Luthor, because here we get to see how he got his Pulitzer picture, and there's a whole bit with the medal or the coin that they give you when you win the Pulitzer, but it basically was an accident when he bumped into Luthor and then Luthor spit on him because he didn't tie his shoes. So I like that. There's just a lot of character in this book that is only feel you could only get from Fraction.
Yeah, no, I love this. It was, all these little vignettes of the various stories that kind of build into a fairly cohesive whole overall, which is a strong talent given how distinct they all are.
Well, yeah, I also like here that you see all of his adventures that Superman talks about, and they're all these really crazy. Him fighting a Brainiac drone, and
I don't know, the one where he's a horse.
Yeah, turned into a horse, and making out with this alien-looking chick.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say every single one of these things has happened in comics at some point.
Oh, I'm sure. Right?
How many were in Kirby's issues?
Yeah. Well, and then you get to the real stuff with him and Lois and Clark embedded with the military. Jimmy's all beat up and he's got 3 cameras around his neck and whatnot. And it just shows yes, he's goofy, but turns out he's also really good at his job. Yeah, and I like that Superman's trying to remind him that. Yeah. And then when Superman takes off and he says up, up, and then he takes off and Jimmy's like, oh, that's my favorite part. So there's these little character beats that I like that, if this was a 6-issue mini, I would say, oh, we're wasting too much time. But there's 12 here. So we're going to get to the Gotham mystery part, like why he's dead. So I'm okay with it taking its time.
I kind of like just the idea that this is pseudo-narrated by Jimmy, it feels like. Yeah. And it's the idea of, this is just how he tells the story. He just goes off on one. And it's like how, with his brother, he's like, oh, did I ever tell you about how I got that photo? He's like, yes, 17 million times. Well, and it's kind of the same here. Where he's just he kind of goes back and forth. It's a very fractured narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, art's pretty consistent with the last issue as well.
So I love it. I really love the flat colors as well. That is working wonders on this book.
It feels like a Silver Age book.
Yeah, it's supposed to. I mean, the narration boxes in the various title pages plus the flat art really try to give it an impression. It's try to give it that feel.
Man, and we're just out of spoil still. I brought this up last time, but the Lois books is really good. I'm enjoying the Superman books, and now Jimmy, it
feels really weird personally reading just Lois and Jimmy and not anything else from Superman family, which it's like those are the books that I'm reading is unusual. But I love both these books, so
Also, don't forget Supergirl, man. That's been great too.
Yeah. But I'm talking directly. She's off doing her own thing in space right now. These feel a little bit more interconnected. But yeah.
What are you giving it, Matt?
I'm giving it a 9.
Okay, Carter.
I'm also giving it a 9.
I'm giving it a 7. Look at me being the villain.
Oof.
It's good. Hey, 7 on my scale, Matt, is good. On your scale, it's this was shit.
He's got a point.
True.
7's fine for me.
Yeah, that means if you get below a 7, though, you done messed up.